Hey everyone, how's it going? Happy New Year! Welcome to Let's Play this fun new non-political game that I found called Jeff Bezos' Net Worth Shown to Scale. It's a games as a service type game, so it's getting more content updates all the time. Anyway, this is $1,000. This is just this single tiny pixel. The median household income next to it is $63,000, which is more noticeable, but it's still just a tiny little blip. And then we have $1 million. Now that stands out a little. But what about $1 billion? Wow, that's a lot. We had to scroll for a second there. Went all the way across the screen. That's so much money. Especially compared to that single pixel. Or those tiny clusters of pixels that was a median household income. But what about $1 billion? Or what about 200 billion, I should say. Which is Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos' net worth. Because just seeing what $1 billion looks like next to $1 million, I bet a lot of you thought, yeah, I can imagine what 200 billion is. It's just the billion I saw 200 times. And I guarantee you're still underestimating what that actually looks like. Just how obscene an amount that is. So the reason this is valuable is at some point when a number gets big enough, Jeff is so wealthy that it's quite literally unimaginable. It becomes impossible to imagine things of a certain magnitude. So the actual gravity of it doesn't make the impression that it should. Kind of like trying to imagine the full functional infinity of the entire universe. So this puts into perspective just how wealthy he is. By the way, the largest strike in history is going on in India right now, and that's great. We rarely see wealth inequality represented to scale. This is part of the reason Americans consistently underestimate the relative wealth of the super rich. What a good, functional tool. I mean video game that we're Let's Playing. And you might be saying, Dave, Jeff Bezos earned his money, come on. For 10 pixels you scroll is 5 million. Why do the communists want to steal his hard-earned money? My short response to that is that I think he amassed his fortune via a legalized form of theft under the coercion of the threat of homelessness, sickness, and starvation to tens of thousands of people. I have no idea what the actual number of Amazon employees is. Oh, we're coming up on the end. I better make this point pretty quick. So I've always liked how Pete Seeger put it in the refrain to a song about how cool labor unions are.
They have taken untold millions that they never toiled to earn, but without our brain and muscle, not a single wheel can turn.
He makes thousands of times more a year than the median salary of the average employee. Does he do thousands of times more work than any other one individual? I don't think so. Oh, also, yeah, we weren't particularly close to being done. We've been scrolling nonstop for several minutes, and we're going to be here for a while longer. You can see the number ticking up now. Let's put this wealth in perspective. Yeah, we love perspective. This is giving us a lot of perspective, hopefully. And let's dig into this. In order for your boss, and I mean like the actual boss, the owner of the company, specifically the private owner of the means of production, in order for them to profit, it's necessary that you, the worker, be paid less than the value you create. Also, that's obscene. All the money you will ever earn in your entire life from the day you're born until the day you die, about the 1.7 million. It's a drop in the ocean here. Wow, that's sobering. In order for them to profit, it is necessary that you be paid less than the value you create, plus any additional overhead. Oh, and that's just that little cluster of pixels is the annual cost of healthcare for a family of 4. Seems like if we do something about this disgusting inequality, we could just give people healthcare and maybe some other things that are basic human necessities and thus should be codified as human rights. Oh, that's the annual pay of an Amazon warehouse worker. We'll get to those. We'll get to their treatment. Let's get back on topic, though. So labor creates value. The workers create the commodities that capitalists sell and profit from. By default, in this transaction, you are being paid less than you're worth. Undervaluing workers, the people who actually create a company's value, is a necessary component to how our current economic system functions. It is a necessary a byproduct of it. It's exploitative by definition. I mean, think about it. Think about what it means to capitalize on something. It means to take advantage of. And labor are the ones being taken advantage of for the benefit of the super wealthy. You have to, by necessity, be paid less than your actual worth. And if you are just a single individual, you can be fired at will and replaced relatively quickly. If you get any big ideas about like fairer wages, you don't have all that much bargaining power, and you have to work somewhere. And no matter where you work, your boss holds all the cards. So at some point, in order to survive, you have to subject yourself to wage slavery, unless you are fabulously lucky in some other regard. That's why in the song it says,
we can break their haughty power, gain our freedom when we learn that the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever.
In addition to that, it's just an immoral amount of wealth to hoard when so many have so little. And when Amazon warehouse employees and like are breaking themselves physically and mentally to keep up with the strictly regimented schedules they have to follow. These folks are having to pee in bottles on the floor because they can't afford to take an extra minute or two to use the bathroom. It's awful. On top of that, taxes fund the infrastructure in the governing bodies which manage vital things to industry like well-controlled and coordinated labor markets. But the likes of Jeff Bezos pay an effective 1-point-something% tax rate. If they pay taxes at all, and don't have literally everything offshore or wrapped up in some kind of tax avoidance loophole scheme. The year before, by the way, the year before last... Oh god, it's 2021. Never mind, 2018. Woo, 2018. Amazon paid $0. And wow, this feels timed out, because... Whoo! 200 million is functionally closer to nothing at all. 200 million is functionally closer to nothing at all, to zero, than it is to the $83 billion of Mark Zuckerberg's net worth. I don't know why. That one really gets me. It is so much closer to zero. Zoomed out enough, it looks like nothing. That perspective is scary. I did get sidetracked, though. We were talking about taxes, because I saw that zero come up, that big fat zero. That big fat zero is what Amazon paid in federal income tax in the US in 2018, I believe, on $11 billion in income, and in fact actually got $130 million in the form of a tax refund. Woo! That's fun stuff, huh? So, on top of all of that, some people will argue, well, capitalists are job creators, and they're the ones incurring all the risks for starting the business, so they should get to skim extra off the profits instead of paying employees more. But employees are just as affected by the health of the business as the CEO. If the place closes down, they're out of the job too. The only thing that stops your average worker or hamstrings them from having more skin in the game is feeling alienated and isolated from their work because they're paid so poorly and have no democratic say in any of the decisions that are getting made that affect them. Oh, and we finally come to the end of $200 billion. Now, we could keep going, because look at the scroll bar at the bottom of the page. There's a lot more. Because this is the wealth of the 400 richest Americans, who own about $3.5 trillion, which is more than the bottom 60% of us. That's hundreds of millions of people that they are far wealthier than, and thus have a disproportionate, disgusting amount of power in comparison to. And also, to add to that, if things aren't going well, it's not usually the owner who's the first one to feel the fire at their feet. Instead of taking pay cuts, most CEOs opt to downsize, which is also, like, for sufficiently large corporations, downsizing is a strategy they employ to make the margins even bigger. Even in years they're doing great, like Activision Blizzard a year or two ago, when they laid off hundreds of employees in a year where they had record-setting revenue. But we are at the finale. There's not going to be a bonus episode where we go through the $3.5 trillion. I think you get the idea by now, right? Thank you all for watching. Take it easy. Have a good one, y'all.